Hi everyone, it's Elizabeth from Cruise Blog, and today we're going to be talking about my favorite and least favorite Caribbean islands to visit on a cruise ship. Let's get into it. I've been cruising to the Caribbean since I was 5 years old, starting with my very first voyage. Since then, I've been on 20 other cruises, most of which have been to the Caribbean. Having visited 16 Caribbean islands and countries, it's easy to understand why the region is a popular tourist destination year-round. The diverse cultures, stunning beaches, welcoming hospitality, and warm climate create an irresistible allure for travelers from across the globe. Plus, all mainstream cruise lines deploy ships to the Caribbean, including Royal Caribbean, Carnival, MSC, Celebrity, and Princess, making the sailings appealing to a wide array of travelers. From someone who has sailed to the Caribbean 6 times in the past 2 years alone, here are the places I'm certain to visit again, and 2 I'm okay skipping. First is San Juan, Puerto Rico, though I didn't see the appeal of the island until my recent visit on board Celebrity Ascent. The first time I docked at the island, our time ashore was limited, with an all-aboard time of around 1:30 p.m. We booked a rush tour of the city and had to return to the ship before we knew it. Then on my second visit, I was more concerned with finding a local drugstore to purchase over-the-counter cold medication than exploring San Juan. On my third trip to the island, I was initially taken aback, as we wouldn't arrive until later in the afternoon, eliminating the nearby beaches as an activity of interest. As luck would have it, I met a group of friends traveling together, and they invited me to join them for dinner at the Cannon Club. It was a perfect night ashore. After dinner, we walked around the streets a little while longer, and I got to see just how lively San Juan is. I'd love to return to explore the beaches, try more local cuisine, and hike El Unique, the only tropical rainforest in the U.S. National Forest System. Another port I'm dying to return to is Roatan, Honduras. Last February, I visited Roatan for the first time. I wasn't too sure what to expect of Roatan, but fell in love with the area, despite only having a few short hours in port. We ventured to the lesser explored East End to see how local islanders live. However, since most of our day was spent driving from one end of the island to the other, I didn't get to take in too many sights outside of the van, except for a stop at an animal sanctuary and a local lunch. What I did see, however, I loved, and I've heard nothing but great things from other cruisers who have visited Roatan and stayed on the west side. Plus, Roatan is situated along the Roatan Barrier Reef, which is part of the Mesoamerican Barrier Reef, aka the second largest barrier reef system in the world. In other words, the snorkeling and scuba diving in Honduras are rumored to be unmatched compared to other islands in the Caribbean. Depending on how you choose to spend your time ashore, some destinations can be one and done. Roatan is not one of those places. The vibrant coral reefs, dense forests, and animal sanctuaries offer a ton of experiences to keep visitors coming back time and time again. Whether you're seeking a relaxed beach day, zipline adventure, or a tour of the local villages, there isn't a right or wrong way to explore Roatan. Finally, after just one afternoon in Costa, Mexico, I'm counting down the days until I return. After visiting Cozumel a few times, seeing Costa Maya on my Western Caribbean itinerary was a welcome change. Unlike Cozumel, Costa Maya isn't an island. It's located on the Yucatan Peninsula. However, do not make the mistake of assuming it's closer to the more famous Maya ruins. Tulum is roughly 2.5 hours away, while Chichen Itza is nearly 4 hours from the port. Though I was disappointed I'd have to hold off on exploring ruins, I was particularly excited to venture into Mahahual. Instead of being filled with basic all-inclusive packages at massive beach clubs and resorts, the quaint town is home to boutique hotels, restaurants, and shops. The fishing village is a short ride from the cruise port, and it's easy to hail a cab for around $4 per person per way. During my visit, I spent the day at Jaime's at the Blue Reef, and for just $57, I enjoyed all-inclusive food and drink. Plus, the service was top-notch since it wasn't a large establishment. At times, it almost felt as though we had private butlers, which isn't usually the case on large cruise ships with thousands of passengers. The food was freshly prepared too, and I could have eaten way more of the guacamole than I care to admit. While I could easily spend another day in Mahahual, focusing on eating at other local restaurants, Costa Maya boasts numerous other activities that interest me, such as the Bacalar Lagoon and Chacobin Ruins. It's impossible to see everything that makes this port unique in a single trip. Moving on to ports I found overrated, first is Curacao. In May 2022, I set sail on an 8-night cruise to the Southern Caribbean aboard Royal Caribbean's Allure of the Seas. The combination of an Oasis-class ship and new ports of call was enticing, as I had yet to cross Aruba and Curacao off my bucket list. However, despite Willemstad's colorful buildings and friendly residents, it's an island I'm okay not returning to. We booked an island tour to the Curacao Museum, Hato Caves, and Curacao Liquor Distillery. While I wasn't a fan of the excursion, let's face it, nothing is less thrilling than sitting on a hot tour bus. After seeing the country's highlights, I would prefer to explore other destinations more. While it's not to say one should avoid visiting Curacao, it was more of a one-and-done type place for me. The Queen Emma Bridge, which rests atop a set of pontoons, was a unique sight, and Handelscade was just as beautiful as pictures make it out to be. Though, living 3.5 hours from Charleston, I'm accustomed to seeing beautiful buildings. If I were to return, the visit would be far more beach-centered, and I prefer destinations where I have different activities to fall back on, especially if other ports on the itinerary are just as beachy. Second is Labadee, Haiti. Royal Caribbean is the only cruise line offering regular sailings to Haiti, though they've been suspended due to civil unrest. However, when visits restart, I won't be scouring the internet for the next available sailing. Labadee may be a favorite for those who prefer a laid-back private destination, but it simply doesn't compare to Perfect Day at Coco Cay. From Coco Cay's adult-only hideaway beach to the upscale Coco Beach Club, delicious snacks at the Snack Shack, adrenaline-pumping water park, and more, it's hard not to find an activity of interest at Royal Caribbean's island in the Bahamas. Labadee, however, lacks the same thrills. While there's no denying the beaches are beautiful, nothing makes Haiti stand out compared to the other ports in the Caribbean, other than the fact that Royal Caribbean's drink packages work ashore. After visiting Labadee twice, I avoid itineraries that list it as a stop. My time and money is better spent exploring new places rather than sitting on the same beach or riding the same zip line. Finally, Nassau deserves an honorable mention as it's perhaps my least favorite port of all time. Though Nassau isn't geographically in the Caribbean, it's a port I truly have no desire to visit again. Excursions tend to be pricier than those in the Western Caribbean. Day passes to resorts, for example, can cost well over $100 per person and may not include unlimited food and beverages. If you want to visit the infamous Atlantis Resort, be prepared to shell out at least $200 per person for access to their water park facilities. Not only that, but it's extremely busy, as it's one of the most popular ports of call in the Bahamas for 3- and 4-night cruises. In December 2023, the port set a new single-day record with 29,316 cruise ship passengers in port. While I appreciate the effort put into revitalizing the cruise area, it's not enough to convince me to book a cruise to Nassau. When sailing to the Bahamas, I prefer visiting cruise line private islands, where I'm at the very least guaranteed a cheap beach day with complimentary food. That's all for now, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and until next time, happy cruising from us at Cruise Blog.